We're well and truly at the business end of the tournament. It would be agonizing to go home at this stage, perhaps not as agonizing as losing in the final, but still, at this point, you just want a chance to fight for the title in the final. And that's what Italy, Spain, England, and Denmark are all competing for. Hey there, welcome to Rabona TV. I'm Paco, and thanks for joining us during our tournament-wide coverage of Euro 2020. And speaking of tournament coverage, no matter which tournament you're following this summer or which league you follow during the regular season, our kind sponsors for this video, OneFootball, have got you covered with their free app linked below. They've done it again. Thank you, OneFootball. OneFootball provides you with the best app for all things football this summer, including the fastest breaking news, the ability to track the clubs and countries you care about for a customized newsfeed, live updated match tickers for when you're on the go, videos, and so much more. So use the link in the description for a free download on iOS or Android. Stay up to date on all things football throughout Euro 2020 and the club football season, and you'll help out an independent creator like me as well. Thanks, OneFootball, and let's get into it. The first of the semifinals sees two teams of international football royalty facing off in Italy and Spain on Tuesday, July 6th at Wembley. Spain and Italy have of course faced off many times over the years, playing each other in each of the last 3 European Championships. Italy eliminated Spain in 2016, Spain humbled Italy 4-0 in 2012, and Spain defeated Italy in a shootout in 2008. They're extremely familiar with each other, especially in a tournament setting. Speaking of which, in this particular tournament, Spain has had a mixed bag of, not results. It's not been a mixed bag of results, it's been a mixed bag of performances. While they had seemingly found their scoring touch, they labored against 10-man Switzerland as well. Credit that partially goes to Jan Sommer, of course, but Moreno and co do have some blood on their hands. And had they lost in the shootout? Yikes. I mean, 6 goals scored in the group stage, 6 goals scored in the knockout rounds. 10 of those goals were scored in 2 of their 5 matches. That's 83% of their goals in just 2 matches. And that really paints the picture of their attack at the moment. It's all over the place. It's not just Morata that falters in front of goal either. We can't just look to him. But when Spain's attack is clicking, they have shown that they can be a devastating side. It's always just been a question of clinicality for them. Their midfield, Busquets has been fantastic, Koke as industrious as ever, and Pedri is without a doubt the future of the Spanish midfield and the present of the Spanish midfield, to be honest. The kid is just incredible. And they will have quite the midfield battle on their hands as Italy boasts a stupendous midfield themselves. Jorginho is the heart of this side as all traffic seems to flow through him. He sets the tempo, he breaks up the opposition's moves, and his distribution is fantastic. Barella and Verratti are both gifted in going forward and disciplined in contributions to defense, and they will have quite the job in cutting off Pedri. I feel as if this will be a focal point for Italy, as a lot of the cutting through balls and imagination in the attack is supplied by Pedri. If Barella and Verratti can shut him down, then Italy will have done a good job to cut out plenty of Spanish attacking moves. Chiesa will also have to be diligent in tracking back, and Insigne as well, just as they did to great effect against Belgium. Spain concede more goals with Pau Torres partnering Aymeric Laporte than they do with Garcia and Laporte. So whether Enrique goes with the Villarreal defender or the Barcelona defender could be quite telling of the fortunes for Spain, as this will no doubt be the most ferocious side they will have come up against thus far, especially in the attack. Italy's attackers have looked dynamic and capable of hurting you in multiple ways. You want to build from the back? No problem. Their pressing game is excellent. You want to play tiki-taka football and make a million passes as you build up your attack? No problem. The Italians can be patient. And when they do win the ball back, their transition from defense to attack is lightning quick, as the midfielders and defenders always seem to know where the out ball is. Azpilicueta and Jordi Alba will have a long night of running ahead of them as Italy's fullbacks join the attack at will. They will be happy that they don't have to face Spinazzola, as he has been one of the top performers in the tournament. Very unfortunate for him to blow his Achilles like that, because his roving runs up and down the pitch from the left back position were a headache. Emerson Palmieri has had few opportunities in this tournament, but he's no slouch either. And as for the center backs for Italy, it will no doubt be Chiellini and Bonucci, as those two have really drilled the point home of how effective they can still be together. That was one of the potential question marks for some going into this tournament, but they have more than proven themselves, looking like vintage Chiellini and Bonucci, bullying attackers and celebrating every blocked shot and sliding tackle as if it was a goal. I personally love to see that. Oh yeah, and shout out Donnarumma, who again, I'd forgotten about because he's just so solid. This should be a great watch. I do feel as though Italy has the edge given their strength in defense and the misfiring Spanish attack, but who knows what will happen here. All I know is that I personally can't wait for it. England overcame a very limp Ukraine side to book a place against Denmark, who had just defeated England's group mates, the Czech Republic. Denmark will no doubt be the toughest team that England have had to face in this tournament, but with the squad England have, and with them playing yet another match at home, they'll like their chances. After beating Germany 2-0 to put the Germans out of their Joachim Löw misery, England reincorporated Mason Mount and finally gave Jadon Sancho a start against the Ukrainians, and they looked great in doing so. Going forward, England are finally playing like the team they are capable of being. Yes, there is an asterisk next to this attacking performance because it came against a weak Ukrainian side. But it's one thing to face them and another thing to face them and win as convincingly as they should do against a side like Ukraine. Now that Kane is up and running, England's focal point is a genuine threat, as he scored a brace against Ukraine, one with a clean finish with the keeper charging, and the other, a header that slipped through the legs of the keeper. I mean, it was great stuff from him, the kind of thing you would expect from Kane. And what was the difference? That he was finally getting service. Raheem Sterling is partially to thank for that, as he set up the first one, and he's had a fantastic Euro 2020 himself, hasn't he? Likely their most consistent player through the balance of the tournament. Luke Shaw was also in great form against Ukraine, setting up Kane's second as well as Maguire's driven header just after the half. The players in the wide positions, now that they are finding their rhythm and their ability to deliver, have made this England attack all the more effective. Grealish and Sancho, players whose minutes aren't guaranteed, could really be the secret weapon for Southgate. I mean, not so much the secret weapon, but the ace up his sleeve, if you will, in the late tournament. They'll be refreshed. And as the regular starters of their opponents slowly get more and more fatigued with every round, they'll be all the more devastating. You know, in hindsight, perhaps this was Southgate's play all along. Conserve his players like Sancho and Grealish for the latter rounds of the tournament, where their energy, trickery, and delivery will be all the more effective. One thing's for certain. While I often find that Southgate's brand of football is laborious against half-decent teams, he certainly seems to be a great man manager, and that can go a long way for a coach when you're blessed with a richly talented squad. Speaking of man management, Kasper Hjulmand has no doubt endured one of the most difficult situations you could throw at a team, a manager, hell, an entire football community. The way that the country and the worldwide football community has rallied around Denmark following Eriksen's collapse, coupled with how Hjulmand has navigated the issue and become a friend to his squad, as they have said, has led to some incredible performances. The big victory over Russia to book their place in the next round was stunning. Their big victory over Wales was dominant, and their victory against the Czechs had flashes of their past victories, with some errors and some rust in between. The highlights of watching Denmark has to be how they attack, as Strigger Larsen and Mæhle are constantly involved as the wingbacks, the latter of which getting a stunning assist with his Trivela cross to Kasper Dolberg. Dolberg himself has seized the opportunities handed to him, scoring a brace against Wales and that cool finish against the Czechs. On top of that, his hold-up play and link-up has been great, leading to 3 goals from 3 appearances, just 2 starts in there. Defensively, the Danes have been sound, though the Czechs definitely tested that on Saturday as they pressed Kjær and co. and forced some mistakes out of their back line. Thankfully for the Danes, Kasper Schmeichel has been in some great form this tournament, bar maybe that match against Finland, but can you really hold it against him? I mean, not in my book at all. That game was a write-off for Denmark. And in the midfield, the Danes have one of the best in the tournament in Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. I have no idea how this man is still running. I have no idea how this man isn't completely bagged, as he played every minute for Tottenham this past Premier League season, and the same could be said of Denmark. He's tough in the tackle, he presses well, and he pushes the play forward. He's not always looking to go side to side. Speaking of pressing, Denmark will not give England's back line an easy time if they look to pass it out the back, as the team itself presses quite well. England's back line, by the way, are yet to concede a goal in this tournament, not a single one. And I do wonder how they will react if the Danes get the first goal of this match, as the Danes have consistently started their matches quickly, extremely quickly actually, scoring the first goal in each of their previous 4 matches. In every game they've scored in, actually, they've scored the first goal. So I think the Danes will provide a great test for England. I fear for Denmark's energy levels a bit, as they looked a bit laggy in the second half against the Czechs, and this is a part of the game where England's players will probably be a step ahead of them, as their fitness levels have been ridiculous, and the depth of their squad has been a major asset. that man management and the rotation that we were speaking of earlier will be huge for England, and it will probably give them the edge. So how do you see it all playing out? Will Denmark's fairy tale tournament continue, or will they meet their maker? Same goes for Italy. Are they an unstoppable force, or will Spain get the better of them? Do let me know in the comments. Beyond that, however, I thank you for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, then do me a favor and drop a like to feed the algorithm, or a dislike if you hated this. I'm Paco, thanks for watching Rabona TV, and we'll catch you during a watch along, hopefully. Peace.